Hello and welcome back to the Beautiful Things channel. Today is a Sunday. Sundays are for the soul. That is the name of this video. I'm here today on a Sunday because so many of you on my Instagram, my Facebook, YouTube, social media, etc. are always saying to me, Claire, you seem so organised. How do you manage to get so much done? How can you run a business, look after a family, and still have time for yourself every single week? And yeah, I guess I am pretty organised. I am pretty good at it. But I've had an awful lot of practice, and that is always the answer that I will give. Now, I have been fortunate enough to have been in a position where I have enlisted the help of experts and others in getting myself super organised. Now, I don't profess to be an expert in anything like it myself, but I have learned an awful lot from these experts. And I'm kind of in a position where I'm thinking I may want to share a little bit of that with you. So I thought I'd test the waters and give you a video, first of all, just explaining how Sundays, or how I use Sundays to set me up for the week ahead. So in an ideal world, I chose Sundays because I work Saturday, always. Sunday is normally a day where we don't have much going on, and whether that is something that we planned for or something that's just evolved over time, I'm not particularly sure, but I love it. Now, this is a typical Sunday. This little one sitting at my desk, she's currently got some headphones on because obviously I want to record, but you can probably hear her busy colouring away and drawing. But I'm not going to interrupt her. That's her normal Sunday morning, and I chose to be out here in the sunny conservatory filming. But Sundays for us are a day when we pretty much do nothing. Now, in an ideal world, we would have a really lazy morning. Mr. Mac and I will turn all the alarms off on a Saturday night. We will lie in for as long as we possibly can. The kids will still get up at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, but they're quite good at entertaining themselves. They're of an age now where they'll either jump on their iPad, or Izzy will get some drawing out, they'll read a book, they'll play Lego. They're pretty self-sufficient, to be honest. So Mr. Mac and I wake when we wake, but we will normally stir, sod's law, about 8:30, 9 o'clock. It's always the way, isn't it, when you think, I'm going to have a lie-in, your body goes, I'm awake, as soon as the sun rises and the birds start tweeting. But when we stir, we don't get straight up. We normally both jump on our phones or our iPads or something and just have a little look at what's been going on in the world overnight. I will normally check in on my Facebook groups, see what people have been busy doing over the course of the evening before. And I always like to jump on YouTube on a Sunday morning because some of my favourite YouTube creators post content on a Sunday morning, and I love to lie in bed with my headphones on and just listen and watch vicariously their lives. So we normally have this kind of lazy morning till about 10, half 10, when Mr. Mac will get up. He'll make us bacon rolls and a cup of tea, which I will enjoy in bed, and then I'll start to stir. That's a typical Sunday morning. It's currently, what time is it? It's currently 11:30, so I have just got up. Now, I don't stay in my pyjamas all day. The kids do. I don't. I've got up and I've put on something comfy. So I've just put a sloppy jumper on. I've still got sports bra on, and I have got a clean pair of PJ bottoms because I know that I'm not leaving the house today. I'm not going anywhere, so I want to be comfortable and I want to be relaxed. If we were going out, then obviously we would get up, we'd get dressed, we'd have a shower, we'd get changed, we'd go out, we'd do whatever we were doing. But because we know we're not going out, we put really nice cozy things on. Mr. Mac is still in bed. He's currently playing Angry Birds Transformers because he's a big kid. So if you can help it, don't plan anything. If you do need to plan stuff and you do need to go out, or you want to go out, that's absolutely fine. Sometimes we might go out for lunch, or we might take the children to the cinema, or we might go shopping even. But if I've had a really busy week and I know that I haven't had any downtime for a long while, then I try and plan a don't do anything Sunday at least once or twice a month. And today is one of those days. Except I'm filming this video, but that's okay. Now, the other thing that I do on a Sunday, whether I'm having a don't do anything Sunday or a fairly relaxed Sunday, is I allocate at least an hour to planning. Now, I used to like to do this about 5 o'clock before I sorted the children's dinners out, or before I sorted our dinner out. I would sit down on a Sunday, normally with a glass of wine, especially in the summer. I like to do it outside in the garden. I get all my notebooks, my diaries, my planners, everything out, and I literally plan my following week. Not just for me personally, but for the children. I like to know who's where, what we're eating, where we're going, all of my business stuff, so what I have to do on a daily basis, and I try and allocate times. I'm a time blocker, and basically what that means is I know what my availability is every single day of the week. I know how much time I have each day, and I make sure that I allocate slots of each day to different tasks, be that personal or business or family. I plan the week ahead so that I can get up each day and know exactly what I need to do that day, and at the end of that day I know exactly what I'm doing the following day, so that I can plan and get ready for the following day. It does sound a little bit methodical, but it's brilliant. I love it. It's all I do on a Sunday with regards to planning and work, just that 1 hour, and the rest of the time I might knit, I might crochet, I might potter around the house. I say I might go out, but I don't do any other kind of work on a Sunday. Even if I've got a to-do list as long as my arm, I will take everything on that to-do list and I will put it into the following week. So I know when it's going to get done, and in my head that takes the weight off my shoulders, because I know it will get done, but it doesn't have to be done exactly at that moment. It allows me to chill, and it allows my brain to chill. You know what it's like when you have a really big to-do list and you know you've got to get loads done, and you don't end up doing any of it because you're so overwhelmed and so like, oh my God, I'm never going to get all this done, that your brain just feels squished, and that's when we tend to get into a bit of a miserable fug. Well, if you can empty your brain and put it somewhere and tell your brain that it's okay, this stuff's going to get done, just not right now, you will feel so much better. So allocate an hour of your Sunday, or whatever day you choose to be your soul day, allocate an hour to planning. The other thing that I find really useful is Google Calendars. Now, I used to be a paper diary girl up until about probably a year ago. I always had a paper diary and I always had a notebook, and I would always carry the two around. At one point I joined the Filofax Club, so I had everything all in one place, but I was carrying around a big heavy A5 Filofax in my handbag every day. I could have killed people with it, it was that heavy. So I have reverted to Google Calendars. I have a Google Calendar for work, I have a Google Calendar for myself, and I have a Google Calendar for the family. But the great thing about it is that all three of those calendars show up on my one computer screen, or my mobile, or my iPad, or my laptop. They all show up wherever I am. I can access them from any device. So it's just like opening my paper diary. I can see what everyone's up to in my family, what I'm up to, and what I'm up to at work, which is really useful. But I can share that. So it means if Mr. Mac is trying to arrange for us to go to dinner with friends, he can open the Family Mac Google Calendar and he can see what I'm up to, where I am, whether I'm available, and he can plan and organise things. He travels a lot for work, so he makes sure that he puts in all of his flight details and all of his travel, so I know when he's not around, which means when I'm then planning classes for work and I come to a Saturday where I can see that he's in America or somewhere, I then know, right, okay, I can't plan a class this day until I've spoken to my mum or someone else and arranged for the children to be looked after. So Google Calendars are fantastic. I now no longer have a paper diary. It's all in one place, and it's a place where everyone can access it. The one thing I do carry around is one notebook. I love my notebook. Everything goes in there. It's where I do all my planning for the week ahead. It's where I keep all my to-do lists. It's where I keep absolutely everything. If I come up with an idea for a new video, I'll put it down. If someone asks me a question and I think I must reply to that, I'll put it down. In the back of my notebook, I also track things like my income. So when I take an order or I make a sale, I make a note of it. I also track things like classes that external teachers are coming in to do, so that I'm aware that I'm going to have outgoings coming out soon. So I use it for kind of a bit of a financial tracker as well. Obviously I can go into that in more detail at some point, but I have one notebook, one place for everything. That notebook travels with me in my handbag wherever I go. If I forget it, I don't like it, but one place for everything. Yes, I could take all those notes onto like a Google Doc or something like that, but there's something really nice about writing your thoughts and writing your plans and writing your ideas. I like to get it down on paper. It's a bit like journaling, I suppose. Something that I really enjoy, just emptying my head onto paper and writing it down. There's also something really lovely about physically crossing through that to-do list when you've completed a task. And I don't know if you're like me, but sometimes if I do a task that isn't on my to-do list, I'll write it onto the bottom of my list just so that I can cross it out. The other thing that makes me super organised is that I'm a stickler for routines. Both my children are routine children. They have been since the day they were born. They know what time they get up, they know what time they go to bed, they know what time they have their dinner. They know what they have to do when they come home from school, and they're encouraged to do it. I mentioned in previous videos I've been using the Jordan Page clipboard method, and it does seem to be working, and it's great. The kids actually really enjoy, just like I do, crossing through the task and letting me know that they've done it. But routines are really, really important. Now, granted, I am not one of these mums that can have exactly the same routine every single day of the week. It simply doesn't work for us. Izzy goes to brownies, for instance. Tom has after school clubs. So some days are different. They're going to need to go to bed at different times. They're going to need to have their food at different times. But the kids have got really used to knowing what day is which and what happens on what day. So we have slightly different routines on different days of the week, but the routines are in place. They know it, I know it, grandma knows it, daddy knows it. It means everyone knows where they are and we can just crack on with our day. So I wouldn't say I'm super organised, but I am pretty organised. And I think what allows me to know that is that I've successfully ran my own business now full time for 7 years. It's been running a lot longer than that, probably about 15 years in total, but full time for 7 years. And alongside running my business on a full-time basis, I've managed the house and I've looked after 2 children. And you know what? They're not bad kids. I've done all right. So that for me is kind of a little level of success. So it's obvious that I'm doing okay. I haven't ever had a massive meltdown or a huge burnout. I've never had a huge disaster where everyone out there decides to complain about my terrible business or anything else. We seem to coast along fairly well. Okay, we're not massive on social media. I'm not a huge name in the crafty community, and there are some amazing businesses out there that also have a YouTube and a social media presence that are doing so well for themselves. But I've also seen an awful lot of creative businesses just crash and burn. And I do wonder if that's because what goes on behind the scenes isn't necessarily as organised and as efficient as their fantastic business. So for me, it's really important that I get my life in order first and then concentrate on the business. And I think that's why I'm still doing okay after all these years. But we shall see. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I know people, myself included, are particularly, I'm going to say nosy, because I love being nosy, I'll be honest, into how people live their lives and how they do what they do. I'm fascinated. I could watch people clean their homes and organise their bedrooms and bubble chart their lifestyle every day of the week. It absolutely fascinates me. I love to watch day in the life videos and all those sorts of things. So I'm hoping that for those of you who've been watching for me for some time, it will be interesting for you to get inside my head and see how I actually organise myself and do what I do. If you want to see more videos like this, then do let me know. I'm actually seriously considering going into the planning side of things in a lot more detail. I have a really structured little system for how I do my planning on a weekly basis. And it doesn't just involve looking at each week ahead, it's actually being a lot more aware of my availability in general, being aware of the tasks that have to get done every single week without fail, and then knowing how much time I have left over to do other stuff. And there's quite a detailed little scheme of work that I do on a weekly basis to make sure that I am fully aware of those slots and that I don't overload myself either and just drown in tasks. I have been considering developing some kind of little mini course, or possibly like a mini series that I might run through Facebook or my Facebook group, or I might just do some YouTube videos on it. But I don't really know. I'll be guided by you. If it's something that you'd be interested in, please do let me know. I've also had a lot of questions from people who are either wanting to set up their own similar business to me, so like craft studio or something like that. They've watched the BTHQ banter videos that I do, and they'd like to know you know, how I did what I did. And again, I am no expert at business, absolutely no expert whatsoever. I have bumbled my way through running my own business, and I'm still learning now. But maybe if you want me to, I could do a Q&A on setting up my business and what I do and how I do it. That's probably all I would feel confident doing. I certainly wouldn't be up for giving you business advice. But if you were interested in me doing a Q&A, then by all means, again, comment down below, leave me your questions. And yeah, post any ideas. If this video has inspired you to start having a Sundayser for the soul, I can highly recommend it. It is a really good way of setting yourself up for the week ahead, and it actually gets rid of that whole dreaded Monday syndrome. I love Mondays. I wake up in the morning and I am ready to hit the ground running. So yeah, comment down below. Let's have a chat. Let's see what you want to see in the future. But this is how I keep myself organised, keep all of the wheels turning, and keep everything in my home and business and family life running on a semi-even keel. So thank you very much for watching. I will see you all in a couple of days' time. Bye.